Before I start this video, I'd like to talk about something. A movie or a sport is just that. Stands true for most things in life. But what really gives meaning, adds value, even joy, are the stories and the characters associated with them. I was quite dismissive of F1 the sport until 2023. The speed, the risk, the tech talk, it all seemed pointless to me. And I was justified in my opinion. But as it happens, I'd crash at my friend's place every weekend. You see, I used to live in Melbourne City all by myself. My life was just about gym and work. And it used to get really lonely for me. So, my mate's place became my escape. All of us would get together over the weekend, crack open a few beers, share some jokes, share our laughter, share our joys and sorrows, and make some memories along the way. But while I used to be there, I was a part of everything over the weekends except for Formula 1. So imagine this. In that house, you had absolute petrol heads and a mechanical engineer living under the same roof. And one day, I just decided to take the plunge. I was getting married in 7 months, and I wanted to make the most of the time I had with the lads. So, my mates dragged me to Crown Melbourne for the Australian GP. And in typical fashion, I said, I don't know anything about the sport. What am I even going to do there? And they said, come Maja, we're there with you. You'll have a good time. That race turned out to be the most chaotic one for that season. And I was hooked. Late night races, drive to survive binges, and endless questions became the norm for me and the lads. And through all of this, I found my favorite team. I found my favorite drivers. And I'm still learning all the technical stuff. But I love this sport. I'm married now, back in India, and I really miss those weekends. And I miss my friends back in Melbourne. And F1 the movie was a way for me to relive those times. And that's what makes it so personal for me. But being as objective as I can possibly be, I did mention in my last video that there were some problems with this movie. And that's what this video is all about. So let's start with the rules. A driver can't just straight up walk out of NASCAR and get into F1. You need a super license. And how do you get that? Through FIA governed events like Formula 1, Formula 2, Formula 3, World Rally Championship, World Endurance Championship, and Formula E. Sure, Sonny Hayes raced in F1 in the 1990s, but a super license is only valid for 3 years. And if you've been gone any longer than that, you need to earn your way back with points. And by the way, Daytona doesn't count. So this was a big oversight. But hey, technicalities are boring. Movies need drama. That said, let's talk about the real F1 penalties. The last time I checked, Max Verstappen was just one demerit point away from getting a race ban. And what did he do? He drove slow on the track. He drove slow under the safety car, had a few collisions here and there with a George Russell, an Oscar Piastri, and a Lando Norris. Meanwhile, Sonny Hayes is out here committing war crimes on the racetrack, puncturing tires, crashing his car, breaking his rear wing, and all on purpose, just to get his teammate a better track position. Seriously, dude. Now the plan C for Apex GP in the movie, it stood for chaos or it stood for combat. But I think plan C should really have been just, come on man, just race fair. Especially considering the cost caps and the spare part limitations that they have. And really, if smaller teams like Haas and Williams would be pulling off these kind of stunts, they would probably have to declare bankruptcy and get out of F1 mid-season.
I declare bankruptcy!
So what do you think? Let me know if you've got a better explanation. Or if you feel I've missed something here or I gave out wrong information, please drop me a comment. Always a student of the sport. Now, listen, one of my favorite quotes from Drive to Survive was, "Your teammate is your biggest competitor because you're driving the same car." And yeah, this movie just ran with that. Not gonna lie, all that behind the scenes drama happening at Apex GP was juicy, sure, but what really sold me on the trailer was seeing the real legends. And in the movie, Sainz, Leclerc, and Norris barely there. Zach Brown got a line or two. God, I hate that nasty smirk. I wish I could just wipe it off his face. Fred Vasseur got a solid line that was very much aligned with the kind of responses he gives out in media presentations. Toto Wolff had probably just one line in the movie, which Max probably hears every single weekend. And Max himself, he got three iconic words. But I'm glad that Max did have his moments in the movie where he got to show us some of his racecraft. And Kevin Magnussen was in this movie, but only for the crashes. And to be honest, it wasn't far from reality. And Lewis Hamilton's dog had more screen time than Pierre Gasly, Yuki Tsunoda, Valtteri Bottas, and Oscar Piastri put together. And that is just wild. Almost makes me feel sorry for those dudes. But yeah, give me rivalries. Give me more time with the real drivers. Because I know all that I need to know about a fictional team that only exists in this movie. Like, show me some real F1. And now we're in that segment where I share one of my really weird thoughts on the topic with you guys. We need to talk about Sir Lewis Hamilton, the racer and the producer. Now, I have a theory. Please, just hear me out. Please, just hear me out. I've just one theory. Remember Abu Dhabi 2021? Yup, that race, that moment. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think he's moved on from that. Because this film showed Lewis being unstoppable in Abu Dhabi until he gets taken out by this guy. Meanwhile, Max is barely visible in Abu Dhabi. Now, was that subtle shade or just pure coincidence? You tell me. Now, Formula One is dangerous. It's always been. Senna, Bianchi, Niki Lauda, Grosjean, but this film does go overboard. The first half is basically all intentional, deliberate crashes. Then you've got the big Grosjean fireball right at the middle, and that really ugly Las Vegas crash, and the retrospective crash from Spain. But I went to this movie to watch some smart strategy and some brave chases, not a demolition derby. And half an hour of crashes was a bit too much for me. This was supposed to be Formula One, not Final Destination. Speaking of which, if you haven't checked out that video, please check it out after this. Probably the most fun I've had making a TMB video since I started 6 months ago. At 2 hours and 35 minutes, this is definitely a long movie. The first time, I didn't really feel it, probably because I was just so deeply into the movie and so immersed in the experience. But I found myself looking at my watch the second time around. Now, I don't really hate movies for being long, but I do believe that movies need to earn their runtime. Matt Reeves' Batman, Oppenheimer, Zack Snyder's Justice League, they were all really long movies, but I still enjoyed every one of them. Although with Zack Snyder's Justice League, I have to admit, I watched that at home, so I had a lot more things at my convenience. But whether it was the Batman trying to build up its character, whether it was the conflict and the turmoil that was brewing within Oppenheimer, or just how things were building up in Zack Snyder's Justice League until it reached its finale, those movies really earned their runtime. But this one was bloated. And I personally would have swapped some of that chaos for cleaner racing, or maybe just gone with a tighter edit on the whole thing. But hey, that's just me. Let me know in the comments if there's something that you would have cut out from this movie or swapped it for something else. Now, I don't like to hate on movies or TV shows for no reason, unless it's Secret Invasion or Justice League. And yes, this film has its fair share of flaws. There are some technical errors, there is some rule bending, and some odd pacing here and there, but it's trying to appeal to everyone, hardcore fans and newcomers alike. And that is not easy. This movie, it's not a character study, it's not high drama. It is a summer blockbuster that gives you a sensory experience. The visuals are stunning, the sound is incredible, the overall energy is electric, and Brad Pitt definitely had a lot of fun shooting this movie. So, yeah, I still recommend it. IMAX if you can, 4DX if you're feeling brave, although I haven't done it myself yet. But just go and watch this movie. Watch it with your friends, watch it with your fellow F1 fans, go watch it with your cousins or your siblings, and just feel the energy and soak in the spectacle sitting in the theater. This one's truly for the ages. I was really looking forward to this movie for a long time and looking forward to making videos on it. And just in case you missed it, Part 1 is already out, so go check it out for all the good stuff in F1. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share it with your fellow F1 fans, because your support really motivates a new creator like me to keep going. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because we're building up to my most anticipated release of the year. Until next time, this is the Millennial Bard signing off.